The Resident Evil series has come a long way, and while some games have been a bit rocky, yes, I'm talking about you, Resident Evil 6, the franchise has seen more spit and polish in the recent years than ever before. Of course, we have the phenomenal move to the first-person genre that was introduced back in RE7. This game marked a refreshing new take on the series with new enemies, an eerie new location, and horror themes like no other. But if you thought it could not get any better, then think again. Resident Evil Village is an accumulation of all these new ideas, tightly packed together in a game that pays homage to the best parts of the series, while also delivering some fantastic new elements that make it one of the greatest games in the series.
There you are. I had a feeling you would pop up here.
It was all worthless.
Is that so? I assume you've picked up something of value.
Much of my love for the Resident Evil Village comes from how surprising the game is. Often I got God of War level reboots vibes from it. The game managed to fully reinvent itself while still maintaining the elements that made the series so remarkable. Resident Evil Village does just that. Who would have thought that vampires, werewolves, and a gothic village would combine into a crazy mashup of elements and fit so perfectly into the Resident Evil universe? We're talking about a series that has been loosely based on a zombie outbreak for the longest of times. Simply put, Resident Evil Village is incredible. From the moment it starts, right up until the end, I was taken on a horrific rollercoaster of torture as I fought my way through deadly packs of lycans, had hoedowns with bloodthirsty vampires, and did some other crazy stuff that I can't spoil for you here. Through every moment, the game delivered a superb atmosphere that cranked up the scares to an 11. It is a disgusting, uncomfortable horror game that I just couldn't put down. If you have not guessed already, Resident Evil Village is set in a European village somewhere in the icy mountains. Ethan Winters, the hero from RE7, is trying to live a peaceful life when Chris Redfield storms into his house and kills his wife Mia. Ethan then gets dragged off and wakes up in this village. He soon discovers that his daughter, Rose, has been kidnapped and sets off to find her. That is the long and short of the game's story. Revealing anything more would ruin the excitement and mystery that shrouds most of Resident Evil Village's key moments.
We'll be safe in here, won't we?
You see, unraveling the game's plot was a big part of the journey, and if you plan on playing this game, you need to do that for yourself.
It doesn't make any sense.
I can just tell you that the village is home to 4 lords. There's the beautiful Lady Dimitrescu, a freakishly tall vampire that lives in a massive castle.
Let's take a look at him. Well, Ethan Winters. You escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you? Let's see how special you are.
There's Donna Benevento and her doll Angie that lives in the haunted mansion. We then have Salvatore Moreo, a deformed hunchback that lives in the swamps. And lastly, there's Carl Heisenberg, who overlooks a massive factory on the outskirts of the village. Let's not forget Mother Miranda, a mysterious lady whom the village worships.
Get ready. No way!
With that in mind, you can kind of get the idea here that Ethan Winters needs to hunt down all these 4 lords in their designated areas and kill them. That's kind of the rhythm and flow of Resident Evil Village, however, it is the pace that makes the game superb. Each area I explored delivered new gameplay elements, puzzles, enemies, and loads of treasures to uncover and collect. There's also jump scares, enemies that relentlessly hunt you down, and all the typical horror elements you would expect. Be it the roomy Castle Dimitrescu and its flying bat-like creatures that hunted me down while I was running across the rooftops, to the hordes of lycans that chase me in packs and try to rip my throat out. Each encounter in Resident Evil Village left my heart racing and my bullet counts lower than ever. I crept through the pitch-black corridors of Heisenberg's factory, only to be shooken by a zombie with massive drills for arms as he scraped them across the walls, causing sparks to fall from the concrete and light up his face. Let me not forget the insane encounter against Urias, a mallet-wielding giant lycan that leapt down from the rooftop and slammed the ground in front of me. These moments left me feeling helpless as I stood there with my mouth wide open and a pistol with 5 bullets in the mag, knowing the next few minutes would either make or break my nerves. Resident Evil Village shines during these scenes thanks to its unique gothic themes and incredible gameplay.
What do I care?
Wait! Just a little longer, please!
What's so funny?
You're stupid.
Throughout my time with Resident Evil Village, I was constantly left in awe. Every new door I opened welcomed a new surprise. Every boss fight made use of unique gameplay elements, and even the in-between moments had me grinning from ear to ear, while also dying a little bit inside. One particular chapter had me creeping through a portion of the village, avoiding a Varkalok, a powerful dog-like beast that was trying to hunt me down. Here's the catch: these houses were also littered with lichens feeding on the dead. So here I was, trying to sneak through the area while staying hidden under floorboards, while also avoiding the possible lichen horde chasing me down. It was torturous but brilliant at the same time. Of course, I could go guns blazing and use every bullet I had to take down the lichens, but the sneak option meant I was able to get the distance between the Vorkalok, kill some lichens, and then run for my life as I tried to slay the beast. This moment-to-moment gameplay is where Resident Evil Village forces you to think fast and make use of every item, hidden doorway, and bullet you have in the magazine. If I had to run into the house and block the doorway with a bookcase while I got my nerves together, then so be it.
Fuck, Joker.
Much of my time with Resident Evil Village was spent exploring, and the game puts a lot of emphasis on this. The Duke is the merchant this time around, and buying new items and upgrading gear relies on Lie, the game's currency. This means I was compelled to collect it all by killing enemies and finding the massive roster of treasures scattered around the world. It also helps that these treasures not only look fantastic to inspect, but some of them are also combinable with other treasures. For example, some necklaces have low value but 2 slots, so I made an effort to 100% an area of the village by exploring every nook and cranny and finding those 2 gems that slotted into the empty holders. The necklace then skyrocketed in value when I sold it to the Duke, and I was able to buy the power upgrade for my Magnum and magazine increase for my shotgun. The Duke can also cook food now that grants permanent stat boosts to Ethan. However, this relies on materials. I had to hunt down pigs, fish, and even chickens to gather some of these ingredients to give him.
Finished. I'd love for you to enjoy as well.
I wouldn't mind having that again.
Some ingredients were a bit more rare and had me hunting down very rare animals using a photo of its location that I found on the desk. These new changes to the game's system create new exciting activities to complete that are always rewarding, but some are also layered in intense fights. I'll never forget heading towards a treasure box on the map, only to be welcomed by a massive axe-wielding giant that leapt out of the trees in front of me. I ran and cried and died. In the game, of course. Inventory management has always been a staple in the series too, and Resident Evil Village keeps the classic feature. However, this time crafting materials do not take up space. Instead, I could store as many green herbs as possible and make chem fluids when I needed them. This is great, as it meant I did not need to keep inventory space for the herbs, and I could focus on my guns and ammunitions taking up those spots instead. RE Village, while being a horror game, is also great to play thanks to its incredible gunplay and action. Weapons feel great, and after tweaking the sensitivity and reducing that annoying camera ramp up, it felt like a good first-person shooter. There was nothing as satisfying as pulling out a sniper and headshotting a bow lichen in the head right before he was able to release a fire arrow in my direction. The same goes for mowing down zombies with a shotgun. Seeing them all fly backwards after a shot is typical Resident Evil. Do they get up, or should I fire another shot? You know how the question goes. I don't want to spoil things, but the game has some rather incredible surprises in store that had me freaking out. Just know that the game does not hold back on you, and it's the most fun I've had in the series in a very, very long time. It also helps that Resident Evil Village has some of the best production value I've seen in a game. It is truly remarkable to play thanks to its stunning visuals and fantastic sound design. Every single area delivered a chilling visual aesthetic that plays into different themes. The castle was clean and expensive, and I could not help but get freaked out at the sound of floorboards creaking and doors closing in the distance. The factory had its cliche burst pipes, but my nerves were wrecked walking past zombies who were not yet turned on, but hanging in the doorway. This all made me so happy because Resident Evil Village is a visual masterpiece, and it makes owning a PS5 so worth it. It runs like a dream at 4K 45 FPS, looks absolutely out of this world, and the sound design elevated the horror experience to a whole new level thanks to the 3D audio support. It also loads in like 4 seconds too, just impressive all around. Once done, I unlocked the challenge store where I could buy weapons, art and other goodies. It is your typical endgame Resident Evil experience here, and a second playthrough will no doubt be faster and more explosive with these unlocked items. There's also a mercenary mode that is all about the gunplay, as I had to rack up score by killing enemies as fast as possible. It is a great endgame mode overall. Resident Evil Village is a phenomenal game. It manages to reinvent itself in some new creative ways while still delivering one of the most explosive and surprising experiences in the series. However, the game's most impressive feature is its gothic setting that could have felt out of place. Instead, we have a world that feels so unique and a cast of characters that forces the player to invest in the story. It takes the gameplay to new heights while at the same time feeling as true to the formula as ever. That to me is game design perfected.
Yes, Mother.
Yes, Mother.
But that's going to be all our thoughts on Resident Evil Village. What do you guys think? Is this something you're looking to pick up? Let us know down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing. Until next time, farewell.
I am the one who captured him.
Now, daughters. First, I must inform Mother Miranda. But later, well, there will be enough for everyone.